Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be going over all of the beauty products that I used for the month of November and switching them out for some December items. So if you are interested in shopping my stash with me, then please stick around. Alrighty, so let's get started. If you are new to Shop My Stash, welcome. Basically, it is my way of going through my products because I do consider myself a beauty enthusiast, which means I have an accumulation of a lot of beauty products. So I like to every month kind of pick out a new batch of products to focus on, hopefully use up, just kind of rotate through and just show it some love. So I typically always start with my skincare. There was one product I already put in my empties bin and I forgot, so I'll put a picture of it here. It is the Mud Masky Serum Infused Moisturizer. I was able to finish that up. I'm pretty sure in my last video I said I only had like a few more uses of it left. So that one was pretty easy to finish up. It was a nice moisturizer. It is on the more expensive side. I'm looking up the price right now. It's $55 for basically this tube size of moisturizer. So it went pretty quickly. Again, the quality of it was really nice, but for $55 to go through it so quickly, I don't know if it was worth it. And then like the benefits of it, again, don't know if it was worth $55 if you really saw all those benefits. But anyways, did use it up, was happy to get one product out of my collection. These two I have been working on for quite some time. It is the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer with 4% niacinamide. The niacinamide helps kind of even out your skin tone over a longer period of time. You can tell it's like perpetually been at this level. I think I should start like marking things now to see if I've actually used anything. And then also the Milani Bright Side Illuminating Primer. To be fair, this month, well, I should say November. So last month, I did take 2 weeks off of work. I'm still in the midst of that 2 weeks off, but I took basically all of Thanksgiving off plus the week afterwards. So those 2 weeks I wasn't wearing any makeup. The 2 weeks before, the only times I really wore makeup was pretty much during work days. So let's just say there was solid 10 days of makeup wearing days that I, actually wore makeup. So I didn't really use my primers too much because I really only use these when I wear makeup, so hence why I didn't use them that much. But I will roll them over yet again into my next one. I know it's getting boring. I'm getting bored with it, but hopefully, fingers crossed, that next month I will finish these up. So some products that I did finish up. So I have all these like little deluxe trial size items that I get in my like Allure Beauty box and Ipsy box. I can link my subscription unboxing in the corner for you if you're interested. I was able to use up this Belief Aqua Balm High Lucid 11% serum. This actually was really nice. That is very liquidy, very serumy. Did a really great for hydration. I wouldn't say moisturizing, but like hydrating, very, very much so. So I was able to use all that up. And then in conjunction, I was using this at night. This is the Cetaphil Healthy Renew Night Cream with purified peptides. This one, it is a thicker cream to use at night. And again, it's only a deluxe trial size, so you're not really going to get like all of the benefits out of it. But it was really nice and very moisturizing overnight, to the point where it's like I still felt like my face was very moisturized in the morning, almost too moisturized. So I'd have to almost like just wash my face off and not use an extra moisturizer or hydration on top of it. That's how moisturizing it was. And then this last little bit I've had in my like little to use thing on my bathroom vanity. This is the Naturopathica Calendula Essential Hydrating Cream. Again, very thick type of cream. Has a very kind of specific smell to it. I think it is the Calendula. Like I couldn't place the smell, but I think it is the Calendula that kind of smells familiar. So again, this was very hydrating. Well, I don't know. Like it was really thick. it was a thick cream that I used at night, kind of very similar to the Cetaphil cream. So again, super happy to get these little trial size out of my collection, and they will be going in my empties. I will be having an empties video sometime this month. I'm kind of toying around with the idea of doing a modified Vlogmas, so definitely not uploading every single day because that seems impossible with a full-time job, but uploading more than I normally do. So an empties video was going to be a part of that. So here are my base products that I used. We will start with foundation. Again, just didn't really use a lot of foundation, so I don't know if this is like a super accurate review of any of them, but here we go. So I will go in with my least favorite at this point, and that is the Sephora Best Skin Ever. I did just pick this up in my Sephora, what did I title it? I don't know. Basically the VIB sale. I picked it up during that. This is, I did actually get a different shade originally, and then I returned it and picked up this shade because the other one was way too light. I think I got it like 4N if I'm not mistaken. So I picked up 10N, and again, I just feel like it leans a little bit yellow. So I don't know if that's how all the shades are, if like all shades kind of lean a little bit more yellow, but I might have done better if I went with like a cooler type of shade, because I do have fair to light skin, neutral cooling undertones, so maybe that would have worked better for me. But this one, I just, the few times that I used it, felt like it just kind of sat on my skin. I again won't lie, my skin hasn't been the best lately. Like, I've had a lot of breakouts and just, you know, just hasn't been the best. So I don't know if it was just like that, or if maybe it was the products underneath it didn't jive well with it. I don't know, just wasn't my favorite. But again, I'm going to continue to use it, you know, throughout the year and try to see if it gets any better, if I like it any better. Maybe it's just not the right time of year to use it. It's a little bit drier out. So who knows, but just wasn't my favorite so far. And then the other ones actually I feel like are going to be tied. So initially I would have said Fenty was number 2 and then Dior was number 1, but I have been using Fenty a little bit more often. Initially I didn't know if I was gonna like it because it just seemed so emollient, just meaning that it, like, the spread of it was almost too easy, and I do have combo oily skin, so I was like, oh, I don't know if this is gonna work with oily skin. But again, for both of these I was kind of playing around with skincare underneath, because I was like, oh, if this is super oily when I wear moisturizer underneath it in the morning, then maybe I'm just not going to wear moisturizer underneath. So I kind of changed up my skincare routine just a little bit, and it seemed to have helped with both of these. So it wasn't super duper oily towards the middle end of the day. So I thought both of these were really great. The shade match, I did do a swatching video of all 3 of these actually. This one, when I swatched it, it was the wrong shade, so that one doesn't count. But this one seemed a little bit yellow on me, but when you spread it out on the skin, it actually looks really nice. The swatch I did was just super concentrated on my arm, and it didn't look that great, but on the skin, this looks great. I have mine in shade 05N for reference, and then the Fenty Beauty one, again, it's a hint little yellow for me, but compared this one to, because I think I have shade 2, shade 1 just looked way too light for me on the online swatches, so I opted for 2, and I think this works out the best. I think this was the best option between 1, 2, and 3. So these were pretty great. I just had to kind of adjust to my skincare routine. And then, I know this is boring, I've had this in my collection for probably 3-ish months now, and I said that I would continue to use it in December too, because I know it doesn't look like it doesn't seem like it's getting bigger, but I know that it's almost there. Like, I really only had this little corner and this little strip up here left, so I'm going to use it again. And actually, I mean, I would hope that Dior and Dior worked together. They worked well, and so did the Fenty with the Dior powder underneath. This just kind of adds like a really nice just softness and filter like over your skin. It does nothing for mattifying though, so if you're hoping that it's going to mattify you, it doesn't. It just gives like a very nice luminosity, but not obvious, if that makes sense. So yes, this will continue on into the next month, and I am hopeful I will finish it up. As far as other powders, as you can see, I knew in my last video I was about to hit pan on it, and I did. This is the number 7 Lift and Illuminate Triple Action Finishing Powder in Light. I use this underneath my eyes, and it's it's fine. I feel like maybe there's a little bit of oxidation, and that could have just been the concealers that I use too. It's not something that I feel like I'm gonna go and repurchase once I finish this, but I feel like I want to finish this just for the fact of finishing it, if that makes sense. But this is going to be switched out for something else. The other powder I was using was the Rare Beauty setting powder in Light. When I first got this, if I'm remembering correctly, I really like this. It added a very nice soft focus. Is that what it's called? Setting powder? No, I thought it was called soft focus. It does add somewhat of a soft focus when I initially wore it, but it's like this time around, it just didn't really do much. And again, I didn't really wear this super often, so that could be the case too. I just wasn't like, I don't know, I just didn't feel jazzed to wear this. I wasn't excited to wear it, I'll just say that. But I don't think I'm ready to let it go out of my collection, because I am in the process of doing declutters at this point. I've already filmed my skincare declutter, which is going to be a very long one. I'm waiting for the footage to actually upload to my iCloud so I can actually edit it, but it is a long video, and I will be going through all bits of my declutter. But while you're waiting, I can link up in the corner my last year's declutter so you can kind of see what I've gone through before. So as far as concealers, I was using the House Labs, what is this, the Triclone, I forget the name of it. I think it's like the Triclone concealer. I have mine in shade 03 Fair Rosy. I feel like the shade is really nice, and this is just a really interesting formula. It's kind of like thick. I don't want to, it's a little bit self-setting too, which is nice, but I don't feel like it has the coverage. Like the formula of it would make me believe that it's going to be a little bit more full coverage, but when you kind of pat it out with your finger, with a sponge, with a brush, it just kind of loses some coverage. So it just wasn't really my favorite, because I would hope that it would be a little bit more full coverage, but to me it just kind of seemed like a light coverage concealer. But again, I will continue to use it throughout the year because this is new to my collection. Same as this is the Flower Beauty what is this, Get Real Serum Concealer. This color was a little bit yellow, but it was still brightening. I actually would typically mix these two together. I felt like that kind of, this gave like a nice color, but this kind of gave more of a brightening effect. And again, the coverage was okay. It wasn't super great. I know it says it's buildable, but it was okay. Again, still gonna play around with it throughout the year. Okay, so as far as complexion, let's start with bronzers. So I was using the L'Oreal Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear Bronzer. I have mine in the shade Fair. This one is a really great bronzer. It's one of those that it's pretty buildable. I don't feel like you can go super overboard. It blends out really nicely. Like it just kind of has a diffused type of look to it. So that one was really nice. But the one that I use the most is my Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Bronze and Glow, and I hit pan in it. Again, in my previous video, I was like suspecting that I'm like, I am almost there. I'm almost gonna hit pan. So I did, and I was so excited for it. This highlighter, I used it as well. It is really nice. It kind of gives like a nice glow from within, lit from within kind of look. So it's not going to be super blinding, but it is a nice it's a nice highlighter. Is it my favorite out of Charlotte Tilbury? It's not really, but you know, if I'm going to use this, this is just conveniently there as well. But super excited to hit pan. This is a beautiful shade. I wish, and please let me know down below, I don't know if they sell just this shade individually. If they do, let me know. If not, I'll be sad. Okay, as far as blush, I used the CoverGirl Classic Color Blush in Soft Mink. This is a beautiful, beautiful blush. It just is like, adds a nice sheen. It's kind of almost like a blush bronzer highlighter duo, trio, if you will. It's just, it is really, really nice. And it kind of gives that nice, like, I don't know, just a mixture of bronzer, blush, and highlighter all in one. It's really nice. I like this shade. I would recommend it. These cost like $5-6 or something, and the formula is really great too. I was using the Dior Rosy Glow blush in pink, the very viral pink blush that was going crazy last year. I think maybe even the year before. This is nice, but do I think that it deserves the virality? Is that a word? Virality that it got? I don't know. I think why it went so viral is just because it was a more unique color at the time, but it is, but the formula of it is just okay. It's not super great. I have the other one in coral too, and I'm pretty sure I've said it before that I kind of feel the same about it. It's like, it's nice, but it's not, I don't feel like it's worth the hype. And then this, I hadn't got it at the time when I filmed that video, but I did include a picture. This is the Rare Beauty Enlighten highlighter, or it's just their highlighter, and the shade is Enlighten. When I got it, it was Baroque, but luckily it wasn't shattered or anything. I did reach out to Sephora, and I was just hoping to get like some percentage of my money back, but they actually sent out a brand new one, like without even like discussion of anything. They just kind of sent it out. So that one actually, I think I'm gonna send in to you for me, so it'll kind of be like I'll resell it and recoup some money, so it's almost like I'm getting a percentage back on what I spent. But this is a really pretty highlighter. It is very blinding though, so if you like more of a subtle highlighter, you use this very cautiously, sparingly, but it is nice that you can build it up as well. All right, now to the eyes. So yes, still using my Essence Make Me Brow Eyebrow Mascara gel mascara. I have mine in chocolatey brows. This is coming due. I don't feel like there's much left in it anyways, and I'm kind of like over it at this point. So I'm gonna switch this out for something else, which we'll see in a little bit, but I would recommend this if you are on a budget for eyebrows, because I do kind of make the comparison between the Kosas Wow Brow and this. I still like the Kosas one better, but this one is a pretty good alternative if you can find the right shade. Now, as far as mascaras, I was using the Huda Beauty Legit Lashes. One side is like volume, the other side is curl and length. I didn't like this at all. I felt like the component was too bulky. I didn't like the formula. It just seemed to smudge on my lower lashes pretty quickly. So I only used this a handful of times until I exchanged it out for the iconic mascara, Triple Threat mascara, which has been a nice one that I've tried in the past. I have a few backups of just different mascaras, so I reached for this one, and it is kind of nice. It's getting, because I think I've had this one for quite some time, just kind of waiting to be used, so it seems like the formula may have dried out just a teeny bit. So I don't know if I'm gonna be able to use it for, I typically use mascaras for like 3 months, so I don't know if I'll be able to use it for 3 months, but I do like originally the formula when it's brand new, and I love the size of the wand. So I have hooded eyes, so smaller wands work best for me. So, but I will continue to use this next month as well. And then as far as eyeshadows, I was using the Gemini palette by Melt. Just a really pretty kind of like fall forest type of palette. I know I've said this multiple times. I didn't wear a lot of makeup, and I even wore less eyeshadow than makeup. But the times that I did use the palette, I used the palettes probably like 2 times each. This shade was really pretty, called Gemini, and then I had like, I think, was it Lorelei in the crease or something like that. It was really pretty. And the shimmers in this one are great. I feel like the shimmers and the mattes in this one are great, and sometimes that's not always the case with Melt palettes. Like sometimes it's just the mattes are great and the shimmers suck, or vice versa. So this is actually a palette where both of them are pretty nice. Then I was able to use my Natasha Denona I Need a Nude palette. I do have a swatch video of this if you're interested to see what it looks like. I will link it up in the corner for you. But this is what it looks like on the inside. Just so beautiful. This was a very great palette too. Like, you didn't really have to think about anything. You could pretty much use all of these colors together and it just looked really nice. A look that I really liked is I used Stone, I think all over the eye or just in the crease, and then I topped it with Delilah, is one of their Wet Effects shimmer, which I believe is a newer formula for them, and it was just really nice. It's just kind of a nice sheer sparkle shimmer kind of thing, so very everyday type of palette. Now, one palette I don't think I included in my last video, but I did sneak it in there because I had received it and I felt like, you know, I wanted to play with it. This is the Glamlight Friday the 13th Camp Crystal Lake palette. It has that lenticular cover. I also have a swatch video of this as well if you're interested to see. But this is what it looks like on the inside. I had a lot of looks in mind for this, but again, I just wasn't wearing a lot of eyeshadow, nor was I wearing any like dramatic looks, because I feel like this could be, you could do this every day, but the looks I wanted were dramatic. Like, I wanted to do a red eye with the silver on top. I wanted to do like a blue eye with a silver on top, and my energies were low, so I didn't end up actually doing that, but hopefully one day I will, and it will be a stunning look, because it seemed very pretty in my head. I just never got to it. All right, the last palette I used was the Anastasia Beverly Hills. I think they call it the Fall Romance palette. As suspected, I knew this was going to get dirty. It's kind of this like velvet, almost looks like calf hair velvet. So this one, I do have the Anastasia Nouveau palette, and that's the only other ABH palette I have. And I will tell you that the formulas are completely different. To be fair, this was the only matte that I used. It was fine. You know, you had to build it up for some pigment, but that's okay. It blended out really nicely. The major difference that I noticed between the palettes was the shimmers. The shimmers in the Nouveau palette are very pigmented, like they're very buttery, they swatch really well. These ones seemed really dry. They just, I don't know if they were like packed harder or whatever, but they just weren't as nice. I did do a nice look. We'll have a video soon, probably within this week. It's a ThredUp unboxing that I do use leather in the crease, and then I use Divine all over the eye and like kind of smoking out underneath. It was a really pretty look, but it wasn't what I was expecting. I thought this was going to be a lot more pigmented. It wasn't, and it almost like, it didn't have fallout when I put it on, but it had fallout like 2 hours after I put it on, if that makes sense. And like, it was completely like, just it already isn't super pigmented, but then after a few hours, it's like my eyelids ate it up. Granted, I didn't wear a primer, but after 2 hours, like that seems a little bit crazy. So I don't know if I'd recommend this palette. I did pick this up in my Trend Mood box, so I didn't pay full price for it, and I got a lot of extra goodies too. If you're interested to see what I got, I will link that up in the corner if I have space. If not, it will be linked down below. But I don't know if I would recommend you go and buy this even on sale. So just something to think about. So that is everything that I used for November. So let's dive into December. Okay, so we already have the items. That over. We already have the items that I'm going to be continuing on, these 4 right here. So we'll get those out of the way. So that is mostly my skincare, but the other skincare product I'm going to use is this Herbivore Aquarius Pore Purifying Clarity Cream. Now, I mentioned my skincare declutter. This one obviously made the declutter, and when I was reading the back of it, it talked about having this like velvety matte finish on it. So I was super intrigued by that, and I've only used it once, but it does have like a velvety matte finish. Like that is spot on, a spot on description. So I'm hoping that this will kind of help, you know, reduce the natural oils that I produce. So I will definitely let you know next month how it works. As far as foundations and powders and concealers, I feel like I have one more foundation. Hold on. There we go. I knew I was missing one. Did I just tell you that I didn't wear a lot of makeup? Yep. Do I feel like December is probably going to be the same thing? Yep. Did I continue to pick out a lot of makeup? Yeah, I did. So here we go. The first one is the Shiseido Secret Skin Self-Refreshing Foundation, oil-free. This one has been a staple of mine for many years, and it's to the point that I either need to finish it or get rid of it. I have mine in the shade 140 Porcelain. So if hopefully, I mean, it's almost done. If like I might have a few uses left, so that this is more purely just for me to get rid of it, but it is a good foundation. I remember getting the concealer and I didn't really like it, but I like the foundation. And then these two foundations, this one is Laura Mercier Real Flawless Weightless Perfecting Foundation. I remember I tried this, I think I got it in July, August, and I tried it then and I really liked it, so I was kind of excited to try it again. And then the Tarte Double Duty Beauty, this is the face tape foundation. I remember really liking this one as well. This one I got in 16N or Fairlight Neutral, and then this one I got in 1C1 or Cool Vanille. So hopefully I can finish up a foundation. As far as powder, I just picked up the Huda Beauty Easy Bake Powder in Cupcake. This is their loose powder compared to their pressed powder, which I've seen a lot of like really mixed review about the pressed powder, but I've seen a lot of great reviews about the loose powder. So I opted to go with the loose powder, obviously. So we will give that a go. Now this will be my other, I pretty much oscillate between this, the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush translucent powder. This is the Brightening Flawless Finish Complexion Perfecting Eye and Face Micro Powder. And then the number 7 one for my under eyes. And again, this one has a huge pan in it. So I will be using those two. And then as far as concealers, I'm gonna reuse the Natasha Denona High Glam concealer. I have mine in the shade N1. And then I'm going to use the Jouer Essential High Coverage Concealer Pen. This is kind of like a clickable concealer, and I have mine in the shade Creme. So hopefully those will produce some pretty looks. All right, as far as complexion, we will start, let's start with bronzers. So this is the iconic London Sheer Bronze in Sunkissed. This also has, it's a very sheer bronzer, liquid bronzer. And again, my goal is to finish this up. You do need to use quite a bit of it. I mean, I'm fair to light and I need to use quite a bit of it for it to show up. So that's why I'm hopeful that I can use this all up by the end of the year. But it is a really nice bronzer. It just is super sheer. And then the other bronzer I'm going to use is the Milani Silky Matte Bronzy Powder in 01 or Sunlight. Again, this is just a super nice kind of neutral, blendable, buildable type of bronzer. As far as blush, again, I picked out a lot of blushes. Why do this to yourself? I don't know. I just get excited about makeup. I've kind of crossed that point where I'm still excited about makeup. I just don't get as excited to use the makeup at this point. Does that make sense? I used to, like, when the pandemic first started and like I was home from work a lot earlier than normal, I would spend hours just like doing full glam makeup, and my excitement got really high. But now it's just kind of like, I still love makeup, I just don't love doing it as much. Make sense? You feel me? Cool. So this is the Charlotte Tilbury Glowgasm Beauty Light Wand. This one is in Pinkgasm, so this is going to be kind of a mixture of a highlighter, blush topper. And I actually was kind of swatching some of this beforehand to see what colors were going to go well. And this ColourPop Super Shock Cheek Pearlized in Brute Flute, this actually is pretty similar to Pinkgasm at like fractions of the cost. So yeah, you might want to consider, if you've been looking for this and haven't, you know, just don't want to bite the bullet, you might consider doing this Brute Flute one. But this one will also be what I will be using. And then kind of for more neutral blush looks, I picked up the ColourPop Prenup Super Shock Cheek in Satin. Again, hopefully I can kind of finish this up. It does have a big pan in it. It does feel like it's kind of drying up a little bit, so this might be the last month that we have together. And then another neutral blush is the Persona Super Blush in Caramel. I don't know if I've used this one quite yet. I could totally be wrong. I could totally be wrong. This probably could have been in a few months ago, and I can't remember it. That just kind of gives you the idea of the busyness that I've been having. But anyways, this is what I'm going to be using. My two highlighters, I'm going to use the Wet n Wild highlighting powder in Blossom Glow. This is just a really nice kind of icy lavendery pink highlighter. As you can see, we are hanging on by a literal thread right there. And then to go on the other spectrum of budget is the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Superstar Glow Highlighter. Does this have a shade? We'll probably just call it Pillow Talk, because everything Charlotte Tilbury is Pillow Talk, but that is what it looks like. So a little bit deeper of a highlighter. I so wish that Charlotte Tilbury highlighters would not be as ginormous, because I mean, although the packaging is beautiful, to go through this whole clam of highlighter is going to take forever. But those are the highlighters I'm going to use. Finishing off with eyes, I'm going to reintroduce the Kosas Airbrow. I have mine in dark brown. This is one of my favorite eyebrow products. It kind of adds, it does add some color to the eyebrows as well as shapes them as well. So excited to bring that back. And then apparently it's going to be the month of single shadows. I do have some palettes that I'm going to use as well, but the single shadows are, I'm going to use the Auric collection, pretty much all the Smoke Reflex. So I have Ego. This is going to take, they have the little thingy things in it, so I'll just show you the sparkly one. The cream shadow is pretty much the same. So this one's kind of that gray, and then the bottom one's kind of like a steel gray, and then it has like a light gray shimmer. We have this one, which was from their holiday collection. This was in Enticed, and this is green. It is a like more dark green color. This is also from their holiday collection from Disrupt. You can kind of see it a little bit in the pan. This is the burgundy one with kind of a almost duochrome shimmer. We have Temper, which I believe is their rose gold one. And then Defiance, which is more of their bronzy one, the gold topper. Thought about using my Tom Ford cream color for eyes in Platinum. Hopefully that's not dried out. I didn't even test it. And then we have a Dose of Color single. This is their Block Party eyeshadow in Slinky. I felt this was going to be very, very festive. All right, and then for the palettes, ColourPop Wine and Only, very dark, kind of sultry, winter type of palette, which I will be filming my winter eyeshadows relatively soon. Sometime this month, I want to film my winter eyeshadow palettes. I'll link down below I've done one for fall, I did one for spring, so yeah, winter one is coming soon. This one, I like lost my train of thought. BH Cosmetics Passion in Paris. Again, this is kind of a staple I like to use during this time of year. Just really pretty, deep burgundies, purples, but also some neutral colors in there. And then last but not least, Natasha Denona Glam Palette. So this is kind of more of the neutral, cooler tone type of palette. So again, perfect time of year for this. So that is everything that I'm going to be using for the month of December. Let me know down below if you like any of these products, you've tried them, curious of trying them, hate them. Let me know all the things like reselling, or if you like beauty content, please consider subscribing as well. And with that, I will see you in my next video. Bye.